We'll see what's in the cards for all you gorgeous Aquarius. Alrighty, let's just take a look. Wrinkles be gone. Here we go. Emperor, Star, Devil. Ooh, that's a very powerful reading. Look at that, all the trumps. Well, the Star is one of your cards, one of the Aquarius cards, and it's such a good card for you because the more you live by grace, the happier you are, rather than living by the devil. And what I mean by living by the devil is not what a lot of people think. Living by the devil is thinking that you know the way that things should be, that you're smarter than infinite intelligence. That if infinite intelligence would just give you things the way that you state, that things would be better. And understanding that that's not the case, that's usually where you get into trouble. And understanding that living by grace, meaning that you can get to the point, Aquarius, that you don't even have to have a goal anymore, because your divine design, your higher purpose, is just in charge. And you can just go from encounter to encounter to encounter, being blessed and having blessings poured upon you, and not have to worry about the particulars. And it's almost like things just happen for you by grace. Well, that's because things are happening for you out of grace, by grace, through grace. That's the way to live. And so this is a couple of weeks where you get to just recognize each and every moment that you have a choice between the two. Do I want to be the Star or do I want to be the Devil? And it's not that one is bad. It's just that one's going to be bringing you happiness all the time and success, and the other one isn't. The other one's going to keep showing you your limitations, and the other one's going to be showing you the way things don't work out for you, and the way that you can have more problems. This one is always, the Star is always about you having I don't want to say no problems, but moving through apparent problems victoriously and easily, and sometimes unknowingly. Like I've experienced that. I'm sure everybody has, where you got through something you didn't even know how dire the situation was. You were ignorant to it until somebody said, "Did you know that you almost got hit by a bus there?" I'm like, "I did," right? And that's living through grace. And sometimes when you live through grace, you don't even know that problems got solved because you didn't even see them. And that's the way it's supposed to be. That's the way it's supposed to be. That everything works out for you easily, and that half the time you don't even understand what's going on, and that you don't need to. And that's hard for Aquarius, because Aquarius wants to know every little detail, about why. Not necessarily every little detail, because I wouldn't say that you're a micromanager necessarily. Some are, but that you have to understand everything as if your intellectual understanding of things actually can make a difference one way or the other. That's the type of arrogance that you get to deal with. Everybody has their own little brand of arrogance. Yours is, I'm smarter than the universe, right? Sometimes, I mean, much of the time you don't believe that, but that's, you know what I'm talking about, I'm sure, because you've lived with yourself your whole life. You know how that can be when Aquarius is like, well, God, if you could only just come to me for some advice, I can show you how to do things so much better. That's the Devil card. There is the idea that your limited intellect, as fabulous as it is, really understands the totality of the universe, and it doesn't. But you're plugged into a power that does. And so living by grace means that you understand that you don't know. You don't know. You know a lot of things, but you don't know everything, and that you don't want to know everything, and that you just want everything to unfold perfectly for you. And it doesn't have to be a certain way. It doesn't have to conform to your theories, and that you can let all that go, and you can just be happy and successful and free and fabulous. And the Emperor here, that's you making choices. The Emperor gets to choose between the two each and every moment. That's you. You get to make a choice. So as you go about your next couple of weeks and you are presented with any encounter whatsoever, you can distill it down into one simple choice. Is this going to be star or devil? And then just make your choice consciously. And if you choose the devil consciously, at least you chose it consciously, and then you can deal with that. But rather than allowing yourself to just do things by habit, right? For the most part, you're gonna realize, I'm gonna stop doing the devil thing because it's just not working out. I'm gonna go ahead and live by grace. I'm gonna go ahead and choose the star instead of the devil. Right? It's not that we're making the devil wrong. We're not making your intellect wrong. We're not saying you're stupid or bad. We're just saying that there's always an easier, more efficient way to handle things, and that's by leaning into the superconscious mind rather than the ego. The Magician card, the Ace of Coins, and the Knight of Coins. Lots of good financial success. I think always this next 2 weeks. I don't think that there's a problem there, no matter which you choose. It just seems like you're doing really well. And for those of you that it's not finances, maybe it's health or some other sort of asset, but you're doing really, really well. And one of the ways that you're going to do better and better is by not thinking that you have to put on some sort of front, that you can be very honest. That you can be, and when I say honest, I don't mean that you're lying necessarily. I mean, unless you are. I mean, everybody has that too sometimes. But being authentic, that's the word. Just being yourself, and not worrying about whether people will accept you or all of that. I think a lot of Aquarius has that kind of baked in, where they say, well, this is what you get. I'm not gonna change myself for you. But there's a lot of subtle ways that you do that. If you're honest with yourself and you really look at yourself, there are still ways that you are trying to live your life so that other people will approve of you. Live your life that you can get the right kind of response from other people. And when you look at it that way, you realize how manipulative that is. And you don't want to be manipulative. You don't want to be manipulative. And I think a lot of that is something that you've already put in the past, but you still want to be aware of the tendency, because that tendency is always going to be there, at least in potential, just because you're a human being. And recognize that you don't need to play the shell game with people. You don't need to one up anybody, because the idea is, well, if they see me for who I am, then I'm not going to have the upper hand or whatever. Let people see you for who you are, and you don't need the upper hand. The reason why you might think that you need the upper hand is if you're choosing through this devil choice. But with the star, if you're living by grace, upper hand is not even a thing. You don't need the upper hand. Things just work out for you. If somebody's trying to do something to you, or that's maybe unethical or not in alignment with your truth, that just gets taken care of. Like I said earlier, like, did you see that you almost got hit by a bus? No, I was oblivious to that, and I was protected, obviously. Same thing here. A lot of that stuff will happen without you ever even knowing that you got taken care of, that somebody that was out to maybe to try to swindle you or to do something weird, it got taken care of and you didn't even have to know about it. That's living by grace. And living by grace can also mean, and you get all this money coming in, and you didn't even try. You didn't even do all your normal stuff that you're like, well, I'm going to do this, and then I'll figure this out, and then I'll be able to make some money here, figure it out. When you get rid of all the figuring out and you just live by grace, the money just pours in, especially where it needs to. And it's just the right amount of money. It's not so much money that it's a burden, but it's enough that there's an abundance and that there's a surplus, right? And then you get all the help that comes your way that fills in the gaps in your own personality where you aren't good at stuff. There's stuff that you're not good at. So you don't have to fake that you're good at stuff anymore. And you just let the people in your life that are good at that take that over. That's because you're the emperor. And the emperor delegates rather than thinking that they have to know it all, that they have to have it all together, that they have to have every skill, that they have to have all the knowledge, all of the anything. You being the emperor, you're living by grace and letting yourself delegate things so that things work out easily for you, rather than, it has to be a certain way and I'm going to micromanage it and I know what to do. And if I don't get what I want, I'll just manipulate people into giving me what I want. You always have that very clear choice over the next 2 weeks. Which path am I going to use? Which path will I tread? Because you can't go on both paths at the same time. It's one or the other. The vision of one path costs you the vision of the other. Because they started out with a choice, but they go 2 very different directions. So if you choose the path of the star, if you choose that path of grace, you can expect everything to work out for you, but you're going to have to give up your need to have things be the way you say. And the cool thing about that is that then you get surprised, and the surprises are fabulous. So don't come from that point of view that I don't want any surprises. I'm going to know what everything is. Don't do that to yourself. Let yourself be pleasantly surprised. Let wonderful, big, happy surprises come to you. That's what you get when you live through grace. Now we have some trumps here. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 possible meditations should you be interested in any of them. For the magician, that's the juggler. You have the one called letting go of others' opinions. For the star, it's receiving the divine grace of the goddess, of the star goddess, receiving the divine grace of the star goddess. For the devil, it's called breaking yourself free from fear. Oh, that's it. Oh, and the emperor, sorry. And the emperor is claiming your royal powers. So you've got a lot of meditations. You don't have to listen to all of them, but if you have time, yay. But just choose 1 or 2 that sound interesting to you, maybe. Anyway, you're going to do great. It's a wonderful, wonderful place to be, where you're on top of every decision. And as you get trusting that grace, boy, just get ready for some great prosperity. Thank you so much for being here today, and thank you to the amazing moderators, Delene, Jennifer, and Dre. And we'll see you in 2 weeks, Capricorn. Blessed be. Aquarius, sorry.